guys, I'll give it a couple of minutes and then I'll make a start because I've got a quiz to go on to after this Pilates session, and I'm aiming for the wooden spoon tonight because normally with the quiz Tom's here to help me. He's much brighter than I am, so when I'm on my own it's purely guesswork, but we'll have some fun. So I make it 7 o'clock, so I'm going to start the video now. We've just got 30 minutes of Pilates and I hope you'll enjoy the session. Do feedback to me afterwards because I love to read your feedback, so that would be fantastic. Hope everybody's had a great day. I don't know what this weather's doing, but they keep forecasting rain and frosts, but as far as I've seen we haven't had either, so I might even water my plants tonight because they're looking pretty desperate. So what we're going to do with Pilates is we're going to do our 30-minute session, so we'll just do a quick 5-minute warm-up and then about 20 minutes of mat work and then a little cool down afterwards, just to prepare the body is the warm-up, and then the cool down is to get the body back to normality. So Pilates is all about balance and using your core muscles, and it's about fluid movement. Okay, so not huge movements, small movements and fluid, and it works. It's great exercise for you. So the first thing I want you to do is to make sure that your feet are embedded into your mat. If you haven't got a mat, into the carpet or a bath towel, that's absolutely fine because that gives us some balance. So if you rock backwards and forwards just a couple of times, and make sure that you can feel your big toe, your little toe and your heel firmly embedded into the mat, and that gives you some balance. Okay, legs about hip width apart and keep your knees fairly soft at the moment, guys. And then what we're going to do now is go into neutral spine, so that we're using the core of our body, our core muscles, so the muscles running down our upper abdominals, our lower abs, the muscles in the back going down either side of your spine. That's what we're using for the exercises. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I mean here. So neutral spine is not back with your bottom pointing out, and it's not forward, okay? It's somewhere in the middle. So I just tend to put my hands, one on my back, one on my front, and just rock backwards and forwards a couple of times with my pelvis until I'm in the middle. Now in the middle means that your pubic bone and your hip bones are aligned, okay? One isn't sticking out further than the other. And as I always say, a good way to check you're in neutral is to put 2 fingers either side of your belly button. You can just get back into neutral and cough. And if you feel that muscle contract, then you are in neutral spine, okay? So we're ready to go. The next thing we need to do is bring our shoulder blades down towards our back pocket, so we're standing nice and tall. And imagine you've got a plumb line lifting up through your head to the ceiling. There's a Stephen King book, I think, a horror, balloons and people having a balloon coming out of their head on a string, and it just reminds me of that, but that's what we're looking for, okay? So we're quite standing tall, using our neutral. The last thing to do is to scoop your tummy button in. So pull your tummy button almost towards your spine and sort of scoop it out. So we're starting to use our core muscles. Now you should feel that now. And then if you switch your legs on, so I sort of tighten my knees, that's how I explain it. I can start to feel I'm switching these muscles on at the top of my leg, okay? And I'm also going to switch my bottom on because I'm pulling my bottom on now, and I'm going to use my glutes, okay? My muscles at the back here. So I'm using all of my muscles and I'm standing tall. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch our neck muscles and loosen up our neck, okay? So if you take your right ear to your right shoulder, back to the middle, and your left ear to your left shoulder, and back to the middle, you should start to feel a little bit of a stretch. Obviously your ear won't touch your shoulder unless you're super versatile or flexible or double jointed. Okay, so just keep doing this for a couple of seconds. Okay, a little bit further down each time so you can start to feel that neck muscle just stretching. Okay, and then we're going to rotate our head, not all the way around like that doll in the horror film, but just look over your right shoulder, back to the middle, your left shoulder, back to the middle, your right shoulder, back to the middle, and your left shoulder, and back to the middle. And now we're just going to move our head in around the clock movement, one side and then the other. So if you start with the right side and just really move your head round and then back. Okay, now I can feel my neck creaking here. It's not a problem. I've probably just spent too much time on my computer today. So I really need to stretch my neck muscles. And what I can hear creaking, I think, is the trapezius muscle, which is the muscle that goes all the way across your back. It's in like a triangle shape and it sort of starts here right at the nape of your neck. So if you do get problems or headaches or you're over a computer all day, that's the muscle that you can feel is tightening, and that's what we're sort of starting to loosen up. So now working on that muscle again in our shoulder joints, we're just going to do some shoulder rolls. So hands on our shoulders, arms sort of straight out, so your elbows aren't down and they're not too far up in the air, they're just straight. And we're just going to do some shoulder rolls. And this is really, really a lovely movement because it's just starting to loosen up those shoulder joints, warm it up, and you're starting to get ready for your Pilates session. Okay, so just a few more. Now before we go any further, we're going to do a couple of shoulder shrugs, but when I say shrugs, they're not harsh, it's not really dropping down. You're just going to bring your shoulders up towards your earlobes and then take them down gently, remembering to keep your shoulder blades back down towards your back pocket. Okay, so just up and down. We'll do a couple more of those and then we're going to go into some waist work. Really easy, just rotating the top of our body and starting to warm up our muscles down the side, our obliques. Once more, and down. So now I want you to cross your arms like a Russian dancer. Okay, and we're just going to turn to the right. Now here, guys, you should only be moving the top of your body. So you're moving your rib cage and you're using your core muscles because you've got your tummy button pulled in, of course. Okay, so we're not moving our hips and legs aren't going like that. Our hips are staying forward and we're moving the top half of our body. So we're really starting to work into the waist. Okay, we'll do a couple more of those. Round to the side and back, and then round to the right and back. And now we're going to go into some movements still for your oblique muscles down here. So I just want you to go down, yeah, put your arm down towards your knee. I'm losing it today. Okay, on the right hand side, and then we're going down to the left. Now just go as far as you can, but do make sure it's a little stretch. Don't make it too easy, but if you can only go that far, that's fine. If you want to go further, you can. If you're more flexible than me, then you can go as far as you want. You're just really sliding that arm down and back up, and then going to the left hand side and back up. And again, you're not bringing the body forward, your body is staying still as you go down. Okay, so you really are just working from your waist. Okay, and then a couple more, and then we're going to get down onto the mat. Well, actually I lied, we're not, we're just going to loosen up our ankles. So now we've worked our neck muscles, we've started to work the upper back, and we've done a little bit for the waist, and I want you to just step through just onto the ball of your feet just a couple of times, making sure your big toe and your little toe is still implanted into that mat, because that's what will give you some balance. Okay, we're just warming up our ankles and our feet, which our feet and our ankles we often forget about in exercise. We work all the other muscles and we forget that we've got muscles and joints in our ankles and our toes and our feet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a couple of roll downs to get us down onto the mat, and we've only got a couple of exercises on our knees, so don't panic if your knees aren't great. So I want you to imagine you've got a peach under your chin. So you don't want to squash the peach, but you do want to drop your chin slightly, okay, and then roll down really, 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 really slowly. Keep pulling your tummy button in because we're using our core muscles, okay, and then roll back up really slowly, one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to turn to the side just in case anybody's not quite sure of this. So I'm breathing in through my nose. I'm going to drop my head onto the peach but not squash it, and breathe out as I go down. So I'm going down all the way to the floor, or as far as you can go. If you can only go to your knees, that's absolutely fine. Okay, and then we're going to come back up really slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, drop our shoulder blades down, pull our tummy button in, keeping that scooped in all the time. In, breathing through our nose, tuck your chin in and go all the way down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. And when you get down to the bottom, I want you to just shake like a rag doll. Okay, so just shake those arms, use the weight of your arms to give your spine a really good seeker of you're stretching your spine here, extending your spine, and really good for it. And then I want you to get down on your hands and knees, okay? And for a second, if I splay my knees further apart, it's easier for me to get into child's pose. I'm just showing you that. So my bottom's going towards my feet, and I'm just going to take my arms in front, pop my head on the floor, my forehead, and just relax for a second before we start our exercises. Okay, this is called child's pose, and it's a nice relaxing exercise and very good if you suffer with backache, especially your lower back. So we're now going to come up onto our hands and knees, and we're going to do something called the cat or cat-cow. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in as we come up. So we're bringing our back up into a big arch like a cat before it's going to have a fight, okay? And then we're going to drop it down so that we emphasise the curve in our spine, the bottom towards the bottom of your spine, okay? And then we're going to come up, so breathe in through your nose and come up, keeping that tummy button pulled in, and then back down. Okay, and then back up, and then back down. And we're just going to do one more of these before we go into another exercise. So back up into cat, and back down into cow. Okay, and now we're just going to lie down, so pop your legs out behind you, pop your hands at the side of your body, okay, so your palms are just above your shoulders and your head is down on the floor, and I want you to come up into a baby cobra. So when you come up, I don't want you to bring your head up and look ahead, I just want you to look at the front of your mat or your bath towel, okay? So just come up gently, you're just bringing your chest up, you're not coming up all the way into a full cobra, you're just coming up a little way and back down, and we're going to do 3 of those. Breathe it out as I go down, in through my nose as I come up, and then back down. Okay, and now what I want you to do is to swing yourself over so that you'll lay on your back and your feet are flat on the floor, and we're just going to do some exercises here for our abs. So the first one that we're going to do is a twist. So we're just going to twist our waist. Now what I'm doing, as I come up into a curl up, I'm just going to lean towards my leg, so opposite arm to opposite leg. So I'm doing my left arm to my right leg, okay? You're not coming up as far as you can, and your elbow isn't going to reach your knee, and you don't bring your knee in. You just literally, tiny movement, as I said at the very beginning, coming up and down. And we're going to do 6 each side. So I struggle to talk when I do these because I'm really trying to use my abs. But do keep your tummy button pulled in all the time, be quite aware. Over to the left. So can you see it's just a very gentle curl up, but you will feel it because you're using your upper abs here. Over to the left. Now left arm to right knee. And down, right arm to left knee, and down, left arm to right knee, and down. I've completely lost count, so we'll do a couple more, and down, okay, that's the last one of those. So now what we're going to do is move on to some leg exercises. So first of all, we're going to do some, before we do our legs, we're going to do our hips actually. I do tell fibs quite often because I sort of lose the sequence of what I'm doing. So I want your legs, your feet quite wide apart for this exercise, guys. Hands, palms down on the floor, tummy buttons scooped in, your back actually flat on the floor, so you shouldn't have an arch under here, it needs to be flat. And we're doing some knee rolls, so really good for hip openers. So I want you to lead with whichever knee you want to lead with. I'm leading with my right towards you, and I'm just moving my knees down towards the ground, and then back to the middle, and then the other side, which is my left, okay, and back to the middle. And what I want you to be conscious of here is that you're not moving your rib cage, you're being led by your knees, okay, so that's what's moving. The whole body isn't moving here. It's almost as though you've been split in two and just the bottom half is moving, and it's your knees that are leading you, okay, but you're also conscious you're pulling your tummy button in, your back is flat on the mat, you're in neutral spine, okay. So we'll do one more either side, one more to my left, and those are our knee rolls. Now another exercise I want to do that is really good for runners especially, and I know we have some runners on this, but anybody can benefit from these exercises, is we're going to do some hip rolls. So now I want your thighs together, okay, and we're going to be moving from the hip, not the knees. So again, the top half of the body stays still, it's just your hips that are moving, okay, so we're just going over to the side as far as you can go without moving this top half of your body, okay, and back to the middle. And then we drop our knees to the other side, and we're moving from the hip here, okay, so your bottom will come up, your bottom, the side of your bottom, your hip will move. Okay, gosh, it's been a long day here. I started with a run earlier, this morning, and it was a hilly run, and it nearly killed me, to be honest. But it was lovely because at the top of Dark Lane I met Percy the peacock. We have a village peacock in Asford Bank, so it was worth running. Okay, so let's do one more to each side, and then we're going to do a slightly different hip roll, which is slightly tougher. Okay, so what I want you to do now, guys, is back still flat on the floor, bring your legs up, your feet up, okay, and we're just going to move our hips and our knees over to the side, okay, again keeping the top half of your body flat. So you're not moving your whole body like this, you're not doing that, okay? You're just using your hips to roll out to the side. Okay? And to my left, doesn't matter if you're going to your right, to my right, and we'll do one more each side. Okay? So this is a little bit tougher, and make sure that your back is flat and it's not being lifted off the floor with the weight of your legs. And back to the middle. And now we're going straight into toe taps. So I want you to keep your legs as they are and just tap down out in front of you. 1, 2, so opposite legs. 3, I always get cramp in my toes during this exercise. I have no idea why. Somebody said drink more tonic water, but I think that means gin and tonic, which probably wouldn't be great before a Pilates session. Okay, tap down, and now we're going to tap down with our heels. So I want you to flex your feet and tap down with your heel. You will feel your calf muscles, the back of your calves now in this. Tap down, tap down, tap down. Okay, are you still breathing, guys? Don't worry if you haven't got the breathing right, just breathe. Tap down and tap down. Okay, and then just hug your knees in towards your chest just for a second, just to give yourself a little break, and we're going straight into the bridge. So feet flat down on the floor, and you're just going to lift your bottom up, but you're going to do it using these core muscles. So really be aware now that your tummy button is pulled all the way in as far as you can pull it through to your spine. Hands down on the floor. If you need to use anything to help you, use your heels of your feet. Don't use your shoulders, your neck or your head to push yourself up. But we're just gently coming up into a bridge, okay, as high as you want to come. If you only want to come a little bit, that's fine. If you want to go further, that's fine too. And then back down. And when you go down, I want you to peel your spine down one vertebrae at a time. Okay, we're going to do 3 bridges, and on the third we're going to do an exercise with our arms. So inhale through your nose, and exhale as you start to come up into your bridge. Okay, I feel as I'm going a little bit faster tonight, guys, but I guess that's because it's a 30-minute session, and it's amazing how fast 30 minutes goes. So back up into our third bridge. So I'm pushing up with my heels here to get me a little bit further, and once I'm as high as I can go, I'm going to pull my bottom in. Okay, put the cheeks of your bottom in, so you're starting to use those muscles there. And then with your arms, we're going to pump them 30 times. So 30, so 20, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I want you to come down, pop your arms down and come down slowly as you can, so that you're lying down. Okay, now just pull your legs in just for a second, just to give your back a bit of a rest, and we're just going to do a couple of side exercises. So if you roll onto your side, if you need a pillow, grab a pillow if you've got one handy, if you're in the lounge or somewhere, and just pop it on top of your arm, okay? Pop your head down, okay? Don't know if you can see my legs, yeah, okay. And we're just going to do some a couple of leg exercises. So with your back leg, I want you to pop it over the front of your other leg, of the leg that's on the floor. I'm lying on my right hand side, so this is my right leg on the floor, okay? And I'm just going to lift my right leg, okay? Because I'm just doing a few leg lifts, and this is really good. I'm using the inside of the thigh on my right leg. Okay, so really good for those muscles. So lift and down, lift and down, lift and down, lift and down. We're going to do this sequence on the other side afterwards, lift and down. And then I want you to bring both legs into a sitting position, and we're going to do the climb, but we're going to do it with our legs up in the air. So I want your heels together, and you're just literally opening your legs like a clam opens. Okay, 2, 3. This again is good for the inner thigh, but I'm working the opposite leg to the leg I've just worked. Okay, do a couple more of those, and then we're going to do a bicycle on our side. So that's the end of the clam. Now what I want you to do is put your legs straight out in front of you. Make sure you're still in neutral spine, so you're balanced. You're not going one way or the other, okay? And then with your top leg, I want you to ride a bicycle. So we're just going to do as big as you want to do a bicycle movement, okay? And then we're going to turn it round and cycle backwards, and then we're moving on to the other side to do our side exercises with the other leg. So let's go the other way. Now I struggle to ride a bicycle backwards for some reason, but it might just be my lack of coordination. Okay, so that's our bicycle. So that's our leg exercises lying on my right side. So now we need to turn over. So again, I'm using the cushion. If you don't want to use the cushion, you can prop your head up onto your elbow, as long as you keep a gap between your waist and the floor, okay? So I'll show you on this side. I'll do this slightly differently. So this top leg crosses in front of my knee or my thigh, and I'm just going to be lifting my bottom leg up in the air and down. Okay, just a few leg lifts. I never can believe how quickly the time goes. We've got 5 minutes left, so but we should get everything done. Okay, so we've done quite a few sort of leg exercises tonight. Next week we'll do more ab work. Up and down, up. We'll do 2 more. Up and down, up and down. So now bring your legs into seated. Okay, just as though you're sitting down, and we're going to lift our feet up into the air, and we're just going to open and close just like a clam. I can feel this tonight for some reason more than usual, just all along the inside of my thigh here. So maybe it's a sequence of exercises. I try to make each session slightly different so that people don't get bored, and so that we're using different muscles and different exercises. Okay, one more clam. And now we're going to go into our bicycle. So legs stretched out. Okay, I'm going to lie down for my bicycle. I'm feeling lazy tonight. I just use my hand there as like a stand or something to stabilise myself. So bicycle, big bicycle movements, really good for your hip. Okay. And then in a minute we're going to move backwards with our bicycle. So let's do some bicycles backwards. Okay, and then we're going to do a couple of stretches for our legs because we've worked them this evening. All the way backwards, one more. Okay, so now guys, if you just lie on your back, okay, and what we're going to do is we'll have one leg bent and we're going to bring the other leg up, and we're just really stretching that. So I have my hands around the back of my thigh, okay. If you want to move them further down to your calf, you can do. I'm just really stretching that leg back. This is really good for your muscles at the back of your leg, for your hamstrings. I was going to say stringfellows, but I'm thinking of oven chips. Yeah. So for your hamstrings, okay, and for your piriformis. So I'm just really stretching that. And now while my leg's up there, I'm just doing some ankle circles. Okay. So a few one way and a few the other way, so clockwise and anti-clockwise. And then I'm going to step this leg down. I've still got my tummy button scooped in, guys. I hope you have. You're doing a great job out there. Other leg up. So I'm really sort of pulling, and I can feel my calf muscles as well as my hamstrings actually here. So I'm really stretching that a little bit. And now I'm just going to do a few circles of the ankle. I can't even tell if that's clockwise or anti-clockwise. I really have lost it tonight. And then the other way. Okay. And then I'm going to step that leg down. I want you to rock yourself up into sitting position. And the last thing I want you to do is we're just going to take a couple of seconds just to go back. Okay. And we're going to do some bow and arrows. So we're going to finish on our waist. So we come back slightly. And as you do, bring your left arm or your right arm and look over your shoulder and back up. And then I'm bringing my right arm and I'm looking over my shoulder and back up. I'm inhaling, exhaling as I go back into my bow and arrow and back up. And then my right side and back up. So I hope you've enjoyed the session tonight. We've done quite a lot of work on our waist, a little bit of work on our abs, quite a lot of work on our legs. And we've done a couple of exercises for our arms. So one more bow and arrow and up. And then I want you to just bring yourself back up onto your knees. Okay, we're just going to do a couple more cat-cows. So up to the cat, down to the cow. That's really nice on my back. Well done, everybody. Back down to the cat, and I want you to tuck your toes under. And you can either walk your hands towards your feet and stand straight up, or you can go into a downward dog, okay, and just hold that there for a couple of seconds, and then bring your hands to your feet, okay, and then we're going to have a big stretch up, and we're going to go down and up and down and up and down and up. And now we're going to finish with just some shoulder rolls back, okay, and a couple of shoulder rolls forwards. And then we're just going to repeat where we were at the beginning. So we're just going to walk through our ankles. Our body now, we should be going back into our normal mode, because I can certainly feel that, I don't know if it's the talking as well as the exercising, but my heart rate is up a little bit. So we're just going back to normal heart rate, okay. We'll do a couple of stretches down to the side and back, 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 and then just a couple more. Head, ear to shoulder, right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder, oh, right ear to right shoulder. And let's finish down with a couple of sweeps. So down to the ground and up, down to the ground and up, and one more. Down to the ground, up, put your palms together. And I say namaste and have a fantastic evening, everybody, and I hope you've enjoyed that session. Take care. Bye-bye.